what we want to do is take a couple opportunities, and of course today we're going to take the opportunity to thank our moms. We have so much to be thankful for, don't we? Mm-hmm. We do. So much to be thankful for. We're going to be thanking God for his faithfulness working through you over the next couple weeks, faithfulness through this community of believers. Do you know that you have given over $25,000 to our local COVID relief fund? Over $25,000. This is what you've done. We'll be talking about that as well. And those funds have gone out to help people in this community. But this morning, we're going to pause, and we're going to take that opportunity, number one, and we're going to say thank you to moms. Now, we understand that today is a difficult day for many. Those of us who have lost our moms. I've said goodbye to my mom, and so that's a hard day. It can be a hard day. Others, your growing up years don't provide very good memories, and it's difficult for you. And others who are waiting to become a mother, it's hard for you, and we want to recognize that as well. You are not a birthing person, Mom. Amen.
Yes.
You are not a birthing person.
It's worth going there and saying that, absolutely.
You know, I heard that this week.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear it?
It's a thing. I heard it. Yeah.
That we would refer to mothers as the birthing person? Don't get me started. Jen and I just sat there, we shook everything. You have got to be kidding me. So, thank you, Mom.
Right on.
Right on. Thank you, Mom, for all that you have done. Moms have always risen to the challenge of the day. Just mentioned that just a few moments ago, even from early biblical days. So, we'll have some things I want to share with you. Now, I will tell you that you probably won't find these in the Bible. Okay. But they're likely things that some of the moms in biblical days said. Okay, here's one about Samson, right? Samson, get your hand out of that lion. You don't know where it's been. How about that one?
And then there's David. David, I told you not to play with that sling in the house. Go practice your harp. We pay good money for those lessons.
Yeah, I'm sure that was said.
At least once.
At least one time. Okay, how about this one? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I told you never to play with fire. That's pretty good.
Cain, get off your brother. You're going to kill him someday.
Yeah, that's pretty good. How about this one? Jesus, stop working on that old wood and come in and eat. You spend your life on that wood if your father asked you to. Pretty good, huh? So I'm not sure how you'll pause today and thank your mom, your wife, but we will all do so in a particular way. But I suspect, especially when moms receive a gift from their kids, that it will always be the best gift, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's an expression of thanks to you for all that you have done. So we want to present, Mario and I want to present to you today, kind of like a great big thank you card. So kind of imagine that thank you card for just a moment. And in this thank you card, we're gonna include three things. Number one, your ability to teach us in a variety of ways, because moms do that. You teach and you do so in so many ways. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the impact of your faith in God, which has been huge, and I would just venture to say even larger than what you might even think about or you might even expect. And then thirdly, your heart for God, which is so evident. But first, let's talk about the ability to teach, because you teach in so many ways. I love the wisdom of Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8 and 9. Here it is. Hear, my son, hear your father's instructions, and forsake not your mother's teaching. Now, if you were to paraphrase that, if I were to paraphrase that, it might just mean never forget what your mother said. Now, my mom used to say, from time to time, every now and then, like it goes in one ear and out the other. So you got to plug up the other side. Don't forget your mother's teaching, okay? For they are a graceful garland for your head and pendants for your neck. So just think about your mother's teaching in that way. They are things that grace us. There's a certain attractiveness of these things. We'll be honored if we would just stop and consider and think about the words of our mothers, the teaching of our mothers. The opposite, of course, is disobedience. So you're like the perfect child. I get that.
Absolutely not.
You probably, did you have a disobedient moment?
At least 5,000, yes, between myself and my mother.
Did you get in trouble?
Well, what's funny is over the course of time, it's been great to have conversations in which my mom, I'll be talking with her, and she goes, "You did what at this age?"
You told her.
Later on.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's what kids do, right? Okay. You going to ask me?
Were you ever disobedient?
No, I wasn't. I was a perfect child. So, okay. For years, and we've taught teachers a certain formula that I think applies right to moms. Here it is, right here. It just represents the information that's retained by a student 3 days after presentations. So just listen. So 10% of what they hear. So, the likelihood is you'll remember 10% of what we're talking about 3 days from now. I hope it's that high. Anyway, 10% of what they just hear, words, right? 30% of what they hear and see. So when they hear it combined with seeing it, the retention is even greater. 50% of what they hear, see, say, and write. So when a student writes what they see and what they hear, remember 50% of that. 70% of what they hear, see, write, and say. And are you ready? 90% of what they hear, see, write, say, and do. It's not just what they hear. It's what they hear and what they see. Mom, what you teach. It's more than parents and more than the mom saying, hey, it's not what it's what I say, it's versus what I do, right? It's not just what I say, it's what I do. And moms, you have taught in that way. You've said it, and then you do it. And that makes a huge impact. Thank you for teaching, not just through your words, but through your action and through your life, because it's huge, because every day as you walk with Jesus, you're making an impact in the lives of your kids, even when you don't think that you are. It's huge.
So true.
Yeah.
And there's an author who takes time to kind of unpack this, and he's going to offer his thanks for that. But I think even as I read some of these and a little bit of his story, think about your own journey and about the way that your mom has impacted you. He said, as I ponder my life, I can't help thinking of the gifts you have given me. I know we have very little money, but we lack nothing of importance. I am as thankful for the things we didn't have as I am for the things we did have. I often wonder if I will ever be able to provide for my children what you provided for me. You taught me by example to do what is right when you made me return a penny item and explain my actions after I took it without permission at age 5. When I was 10, you taught me by example to treat others with dignity when you gave shelter and care to my friends who were beaten by his own family. You taught me by example that respect was more important than grades when I had a conflict with a teacher in 6th grade. You taught me by example the importance of giving when you placed your offering in the plate each week to help others who were less fortunate than we were. You taught me by example that honesty and integrity were more important than fortune when you struggled to pay your taxes rather than to cheat on your return. You taught me by example to hold fast to my commitments by staying committed to each other for all these years. You taught me by example what it means to be a good parent, caught more than taught, and lived out more than lectured. And that's really the nature of faith lived out. It is caught more than taught. It's something that's passed down. We get to spend all sorts of time saying things, but it's what we do that ends up sticking with our children. It's the things that cause them to say thank you so much. And quite often it takes some years before we come to recognize just what a blessing our kids can be, our moms can be.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's what I say. It's so often the impact of our faith, the impact of the way that you're walking that out, isn't always known right away.
Right.
But it's there. And so that's the nature of faith, as you just mentioned, that's lived out. It's passed down. So, Mom, thank you for how you're living out your faith. Then we would add into this thank you card just a huge impact of your faith in Jesus. Now, some have experienced and you're here, you're online, the faithfulness of God, even though you were raised in a home where perhaps God was not honored, but God was faithful to you. But we want to thank moms here today for living out your faith. The example in Scripture comes from Timothy, Eunice, and then her mother, Lois. And so it's the only time you read about these two in the Bible. They're lesser known. Their names only appear just this one time, but their impact is great. It's incredible. Just listen to 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 5. I'm reminded of your sincere faith. Now, Paul's talking to Timothy, right? So, Timothy, I'm reminded of your sincere faith. But listen to about this faith, what he says about this faith. A faith that dwelt first in your grandmother, Lois, and your mother, Eunice, and now I am sure dwells in you. Now, that verse is very, very short. And in fact, it reads really, really quickly, doesn't it? But the words are powerful because this faith that Paul was seeing in Timothy, right, was first seen in his grandmother, and then in his mother, and now to you. That's the nature of faith that's lived out. These were women, mothers of sincere faith. It was not just religious pretense at all. They had faith, and they lived it out. It's a sincere faith. It's an honest faith. It's a pure faith that trusts in God regardless of what we're walking through. I mentioned we're walking through this COVID fatigue, but right now, regardless of what we're walking through, we walk through it in this faith. But not only did they possess it, but they passed it down. And you just mentioned that's the nature of faith, right? Mm-hmm. When people see it, it's passed down. So, moms, thank you for the impact of your faith. You see, you can only pass on what you live, and you're living it, and it's making an impact in the lives of your children. It really goes beyond that. Mm-hmm. The life of your life, the impact of your faith, lived out before your children cannot be underestimated. As parents, we both have the responsibility and the opportunity to live it out. And Mom, you are doing that in such a huge way, and we just want to say thank you for that.
Absolutely. In Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 6 through 9, this is what you walk out so much. It says this, and you must commit yourselves wholeheartedly to these commands that I am giving you today. Repeat them again and again to your children. Talk about them when you are at home and when you are on the road and when you are going to bed and when you are getting up. Tie them to your hands and wear them on your forehead as reminders. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Moms, that's what you do. Day in and day out, moment after moment, opportunity after opportunity to continue to say, this is what it means to live out Christ. And I know that for some moms today, you're going like, wait, whoa, like that's not me. If you look at my life and you look at my world and the way things go, that's not me. But I want to just say something. For those that feel like you've failed so many times, or you feel like you're not there, I just want to encourage you in this. You have a heart posture that's closer to leaning towards Jesus than what you think. And I just want to encourage you, none of us get it right every time. No person gets this parenting thing right every time. But there's something about day after day, time after time, continuing when we fall to get back up and continue to follow Jesus, that over the course of time, it makes a difference. And so we do want to say thank you for having that heart posture towards Jesus. And if you are at a spot, whether you're here or you're online and joining us and you haven't moved in that place where your heart isn't for Jesus, we want to give you the opportunity to take that step today, to move to that spot, because Jesus always gives us a chance to come to him and say, you can follow me and allow my life to live through you. Today can be that day. And this third area that we wanted to talk about for moms and just wanted to say thank you for, and that is for having the heart of God. You know, there's no protector like mom, you know. You think about it, and particularly in the animal kingdom, you look around, and there's a reason why there's a phrase, if moms are a little bit upset, they say, oh, there comes Mama Bear, right? There's a reason for that. You know, Pastor Dave, who was on here earlier, he talked about being up in Alaska, and he said, Mario, one of the scariest moments I've ever had. It's like I've been backpacking, I've been so many different places. But there was a moment where even the guide that was with us, we found ourselves with a grizzly bear mama on this side, and we looked downstream, and the cubs were down there. And he said, the guide even had his hand prepared, ready to protect, shall we say, the team in that moment. He said, I have never been in a spot where I've been that freaked out before. There's something about being between a mama bear and their cubs, because we know that they have the ability to protect. So don't get caught between mama bear and her cubs.
Oh, man, don't get caught between my mom and her kids. I mean, when she was alive, or my wife and her kids either. I mean, we would say that it's true for everybody, right? So I can remember times when my mom stepped in, even though I was wrong. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can remember mom stepping in and going like, that's not going to happen. Now, when we got home, right? Because you can't talk about moms and the greatness of moms without really talking about discipline either, right?
Right.
Right? You can't talk about that because moms have a sense of what's right and what's wrong. And so, moms, thank you for doing that. I thank mom now for the discipline.
Right.
Not so much then, right? So Jen and I were watching. Is it the bird is called a kildare? Kildare, I think. Kildare. Anyway, something like that. I think that's what's called, something close anyway. But we were watching this bird, and we were close to it, and it was acting as if it was hurt and dead. Or not dead, but hurt. Kind of a broken wing, you know. And you know why? Yeah, pulling us away from its young. And I thought about that. So here was a mother bird acting as if it was hurt, who was willing to take whatever would come to her to protect her young. I bet you've experienced that too. I have. How many times has mom stepped in and took the responsibility, maybe, right? Maybe the danger, kind of step between something and somebody or whatever just to protect you and to offer that. And so moms, we want to say, that's the heart of God. That's the heart of God. And so we want to say thank you because you bear fruit. The fruit that you have borne is incredible. Consider God's protection. The psalmist declares in Psalm 91, verse number 1 through 4, he who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. Scripture goes on to say, he's my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. And then he will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings, and you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. So, Mom, we just want to say thank you today. So we pause. This day really should be probably every day, right? One day isn't enough. But thank you for your ability to teach. Thank you for the impact of your faith, even when you don't see it. Even, Mom, when you're discouraged a bit, you're making a difference in the lives of your kids. It really goes beyond that. And finally, thank you for your heart for God as our protector.